Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with ablogtoread.com. Please subscribe to A Blog to Read videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is the Chopard Mille Miglia GT XL Rosso Corsa limited edition. Each year there are new versions of the famous Mille Miglia watches from Chopard. These are all racing themed sport watches, and this is one of the newer limited editions for the Rosso Corsa race, I guess. Limited edition of 1,000. Check this out. This is one of 1,000. How cool is that? Chopard makes really nice men's watches. I've always been a big fan. I own one myself, and this is an interesting version which is very bold. Some people are going to love this. Some people are going to hate this particular version, but I like that Chopard makes cool stuff like this. I mean, really, you're going to get this particular version of the Mille Miglia because you like the GTXL, the watch, and you like red. So the GTXL is a 44 millimeter wide case. This version is in titanium and has some cool features. One which I'm not necessarily sold on myself, but some people like it, are how the 12 and 6 o'clock hour markers are applied on the sapphire crystal. So I'm going to move that around there. You can see how there's a 12 and 6 right there on the sapphire crystal. It's cool. I actually kind of like it. It kind of grew on me. At first I was kind of like, that's distracting because it's kind of like totally over the dials. But it's cool and adds a depth to the dial that I appreciate. There is a lot of depth to this dial because you have the applied hour markers and these large rings around the chronograph subdials. I really like there's different versions of how they do it, but the chronograph pushers in there very nicely integrated in the case there. So you can see that, and they work well. So this is a good version, a good example of how you can integrate chronograph pushers into a case in a nice slick way, but still make them easy to push. Lots of people have tried to do this. Not that many people have succeeded, but they did a good job here rather than have these like ones that just kind of stick out. So you kind of have this nice, nicer, seamless, architected look on the side there without screaming, oh, there's chronograph pushers sticking out along with the crown. Detailing on these watches is very good. These are not inexpensive watches, but detailing is fine. They do a great job on the case. You could very easily think that this was a steel case. Aside from the fact that it's a little bit darker, the polish on here is something which is very, very hard to do for titanium. That sort of mirror polish you got on the side there, not easy to do with titanium several years ago. That was not possible. Like early titanium watches were like sandblasted, some of them brushed, but with today's technology you can get a lot of the same finishes from titanium that you could do on steel. So this is a relatively light watch, but it looks like a steel watch, but it's titanium. On the bezel you have this tachymeter that's put in there, and it's nice, it's diminutive. I mean, nobody really uses I'm sorry, this is not a tachymeter, this is a tachometer, which is slightly different, which measures, I don't remember. Tachymeter measures the speed of something you're watching. Tachometer measures something slightly different. It doesn't matter. You're not going to use it. It's just there. It's cool. So inside this watch is a Valjo 7750 automatic chronograph that Chopard makes look really nice. They polish it. They give it some perlage. I believe this one has a COSC certification. Not sure. Maybe. A lot of these do. I'm not. Yes, this one does have a COSC chronometer certification along with it as well. The 7750 is a very common movement. Not all grades are the same. This uses a very high grade one with that COSC certification, that nice level of polish, along with the custom Chopard automatic rotor. Makes it pretty nice. But yes, it is a 7750, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. The dial is cool, despite the fact that there's basically two tones, just the steel color and the red. It's still quite legible, and there's a lot of levels. And I really like the flange ring there, that chapter ring that has not just the hour markers on there, but also the minutes and these lots of other little indicators. Looks cool, kind of has a retro feel to it. This is a bold looking watch, and I gotta say, this gets a lot of attention. Not everyone would wear this watch, but I think we can agree it's cool and bold looking. The strap has those like that porthole look that's like, I don't know, like it's supposed to be like racing gloves, or it's like vented. It's cool. It's cool. The buckle here is nice, and the buckle is also titanium, and you can see how the buckle is a lot darker than the case. I'm not sure exactly why. It might be a different grade of titanium, but it's a light buckle, and you can see the total different color between what you normally associate with titanium and this much sort of higher grade titanium. On the wrist at 44 millimeters wide, it's totally fine. I would warn that people with very, very small wrists might be careful because the lugs kind of stick out a lot. And for me, it's just right up to the edge there. And again, I don't have the biggest wrist, but if you have very small wrists, you might want to put it on your wrist first, because if those lugs would actually go and stick out too far, then it would look too large on your wrist. But for me, it looks fine. Again, I think that the case, the GTXL case, is something I really like a lot. Very good look on the wrist. If this red splash of color that looks like a deep blood red almost doesn't appeal to you, don't worry. There's a million other Mille Miglia watches out there. Literally, there's like a million of them. And a lot of them are cool, and it's a great men's collection. If you don't have a Chopard Mille Miglia, it's definitely something I recommend adding to your collection. So again, this is the Chopard Mille Miglia GTXL Rosso Corsa limited edition of 1,000 pieces. Retail price on this is $9,570, and you can see the full review on blogtoread.com. Thanks.